RWB. Just these three letters have such a significant meaning in the automotive world. It's the abbreviation that sparked much controversy among the Porsche community. And if you've already seen one in person, then you already know. Them wide, thick boy flares, that gigantic wing, the aggressive stance, and that raw, almost outlaw-like attitude. This isn't any old modified Porsche. This is an RWB. And today we have the absolute pleasure of getting up close and personal with Karen's RWB Porsche 911 993. And we're going to go into the story of the RWB brand, how it started, and why the 993 makes for the perfect canvas for one of the most iconic Porsche tuning brands in the world. File 1. What does RWB actually mean? RWB stands for Begriff in German. Translated in English, it means rough world concept, which actually perfectly describes what these cars are. They actually kind of give the vibe of Tony Stark building the first Iron Man suit from a box of scraps.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps. Well, I'm sorry. I'm not Tony Stark.
But here's the twist. RWB isn't a German brand, it's Japanese. File 2. The man behind it all, Akira Nakai. RWB was founded in 1997 by Akira Nakai, but Nakai-san didn't start with Porsches though. Stop! Back in the 90s, he was deeply involved in Japan's underground car scene, particularly with drifting and classic Japanese sports cars. He founded a drift team called Rough World, which you can tell is where the RWB name originates from. But everything changed when Nakai-san got his hands on an air-cooled Porsche, a 930 Turbo that he named Stella Artois. This car completely reshaped the direction of his brand and his life. File 3. The birth of the RWB Porsche. In Japan back then, Porsche tuning wasn't mainstream. It wasn't trendy, and it wasn't even accepted in some circles. Just the mere concept of cutting these sports cars up with a grinder was unheard of. So that's exactly what Nakai-san started doing. Instead of the subtle upgrades that were normal on Porsches, he went nuts, dramatically widening the body with bolt-on panels, aggressive aero, and super wide wheels. Perfection wasn't really what Nakai-san was after, it was presence. And each car looked freaking rebellious and didn't care about resale value or originality or any of that stuff. And you can just imagine the reaction of the Porsche purists. They were not impressed. I'm sorry. But car culture doesn't evolve and move forward without people pushing boundaries. And Nakai-san was definitely doing that. File 4. The Porsche 993 and why it's perfect for RWB. Now let's talk about the 993 Generation 911. These were built from 1994 to 1998 and they're the last ever air-cooled Porsche 911, which is why they hold such a special place in Porsche history. The 993 wasn't just the last air-cooled 911 though, it was also a big evolutionary jump from the previous 964 generation. It introduced a new multi-link rear suspension system, improved chassis rigidity, better aerodynamics, and a more refined interior. Yet it still kept that pure, connected driving feel that air-cooled Porsches are known for. The combination of the 993's mechanically raw feeling, its air-cooled flat-six engine, those classic 911 proportions, and for it to still be modern enough to drive every day makes it incredibly desirable. After the 993, Porsche introduced the water-cooled 996 generation, and that completely changed the attitude of the 911. So the 993 became the end of an era. Engine-wise, most naturally aspirated 993 Carreras came with the 3.6 litre flat-six engine, making around 202 kilowatts or 272 horsepower, depending on the year and the market. RWBs aren't about massive engine builds though, they're about visual drama, and the 993 has the perfect body shape for it. It's got that classic 911 silhouette which works perfectly with the RWB widebody. It doesn't look awkward at all, which is why it made the perfect template for RWB's builds. File 5. The RWB process, built by one man. One of the most unique things about RWB is how the cars are built. Each genuine RWB conversion is installed by Nakai-san himself. Yes, personally. He flies to wherever the car's located, whether it be Australia, Europe, the US. This car here was built in Hong Kong. He then installs the kit in the owner's garage or a workshop, so there's no giant factory or no massive production line involved. Just Nakai-san with a grinder, a rivet gun, and a lot of masking tape. But here's the part that shocks people and makes the purists puke in their mouths. He actually cuts the original metal quarter panels off the Porsche. There aren't any templates, no fancy computer scanning, literally just pure experience. For Porsche purists, that's sacrilege, but for RWB fans, that's art. And if you're on the fence or between the two groups, let us know in the comments. File 6. The design philosophy. RWB cars are intentionally raw. The wide bodies are riveted on, and you can actually see the rivets. They're not molded seamlessly like traditional wide body builds. The ride height is low with front air suspension, not to mention the enormous wings that are installed on them. Inside is a mix of race and retro. It has a whole bunch of different components from different Porsches. For example, the turbo seats, the RS door cards, and it's got a lot of Gambala stuff in here too, from the steering wheel to the shift knob to even the handbrake and the gauge clusters, all Gambala. And to verify if it's a real RWB, it's got Nakai-san's signature right on the passenger side airbag there. It's almost like Japanese Borsors culture met with German engineering, just without the 3-meter exhausts. And that clash of worlds is what makes these iconic. Each car is also given its own name. This particular car here is called Tenka, which in Japanese means heavenly flower. And that's another key part of RWB culture. They aren't just builds with serial numbers. Each car has a personality, and it's like they're living, breathing characters. File 7. Tenka. Now let's come back to this particular car right here. On the 24th of April 2018, Nakai-san grabbed his tools and started on a new project in Hong Kong, codename HK8. The HK stands for Hong Kong, and the 8 stands for the 8th build in Hong Kong. And the number 8 is actually sketched onto the dash as well, and this car is also known as the lucky number 8. And in just 2 days, the newest RWB was born, finished in Porsche's Ruby Star colour, and it's a truly gorgeous car. This thing then cruised around the streets of Hong Kong for a bit before going up for sale in 2019. The car then remained in Hong Kong for a few more years after that, until it randomly came up on car sales in Queensland, Australia. That's when Karen saw this car for sale while doom scrolling car sales, as you do. So then she instantly messaged the seller expressing her interest, as you do. And just like that, HK8 found its new home in Australia in one of Jamie and Karen's massive sheds. Now what's interesting with this car is that it wasn't given a name right when it was built, so it just kind of lived with the HK name for most of its life. That was until Nakai-san came to Noosa last year to build the RWB Senshi. HK8 was on display at the GT Collective workshop where Senshi was being built. Nakai-san remembered HK8 and also remembered that it didn't have an official name, so he named it Tenka, which is a very fitting name for this car. Now, you'll see Tenka at many car shows and events drawing massive crowds just so they can get a glimpse of this beauty. Tenka will forever live on as the lucky number 8 RWB, and one of the very few examples of these cars in Australia, making it truly special. File 8. Global expansion. RWB started in Japan, but it didn't stay there. In the early 2010s, RWB began gaining serious traction in the US, largely thanks to social media and car culture documentaries. From there, RWB exploded globally, and now you'll find RWB builds in the US, Australia, Hong Kong, Thailand, the UAE, the UK, Canada, and many more. And each one still follows the same ritual. Nakai-san installs it himself. File 9. Criticism and controversy. RWB has always been controversial, and that's what I love about these cars. They're not here to please everyone, and their style is truly unapologetic. Some Porsche collectors believe that modifying a 993, especially cutting it up, ruins the value of a historically important car. And you know what? They're not entirely wrong. Stock 993 values have skyrocketed in recent years, especially rare variants like the Carrera RS or Turbo S. But RWB isn't here to preserve museum pieces, it's here to create something emotional. The market has shifted, and the appreciation and respect for these cars has grown exponentially. File 10. What is RWB today? RWB isn't a traditional tuning company. You could say it's more like a boutique art studio. They produce wide-body kits, wings and aero components, but the real product is the experience. People who buy an RWB conversion aren't just buying a body kit. They buy a ceremony, a major event. The car is transformed in front of them over a few days. Then it becomes part of a global community, with RWB meets around the world, RWB themed apparel, which I've worn on the channel quite a bit, and a strong lifestyle presence. Purchasing an RWB car or conversion is a golden ticket to a membership into a very special culture. File 11, the driving experience. Driving this car is truly special. It's a manual, but it also has a special RWB exhaust, these super sweet rotiform wheels and Gambala Porsche brakes. The rear tyres are also 335s, super wide, paired with that brutal flat six sound. And speaking of the sound, let's go for a drive. That's loud. Holy moly! Brother! Woo! That's nuts! That is nuts! What the hell?
Karen will be saying, I knew he'd do that.
Yeah! Wow, man! The sound is insane. It's just the way it goes.
It doesn't help because you take it out and you're like, oh, I'll just go give it a run around the block just to warm it up, get the cobwebs off. You end up driving like a crazy.
Yeah, nothing crazy.
No, nothing crazy, no. Only for off-road, that, eh?
Yeah, that's right. So here we have Jamie joining us for the drive. Thank you very much for taking me out. Man, this thing is crazy. This thing's nuts.
You're welcome. Only excuse to get the cars out.
Yeah, absolutely. This is something else. It's such a almost tinny but like mechanical sound to it. You know, even the shifts are just, you know, obviously this being a manual, it's just such an analog car. I love it.
They quite often get asked, what's it like to drive? And it's like a daily driver. It's lovely to drive. What do you reckon?
I love it, man. I love it.
A lot of people get like nice cars built or buy a nice car and they leave it in the garage. They don't want to put K's on it or put stone chips on it. It's like, I want to enjoy it.
Absolutely. And these cars are made to be driven at the end of the day, so may as well go out and drive it.
Surprising how quick a car deteriorates if you don't drive it. The ignitions, they don't spark and fire as well, and they like to be revved too, so they do.
No doubt.
Stuck in traffic, it coughs and splutters and spits and
this and an open highway, like match made in heaven, man. Frick. Oh, yo! It's so loud. Oh. No way. I mean, that's one way to get high.
what's they say?
Nice car. We are just causing absolute havoc on Bribey Island right now. Imagine you're enjoying a nice peaceful Saturday in your Bribey Island home. You just freaking hear this.
Just out for a quiet stroll. All I want is a piece of shit that goes.
File 12, the legacy of RWB. RWB changed Porsche tuning forever. Before RWB, Porsche modification culture leaned towards subtle OEM plus builds or track-focused performance upgrades. After RWB, extreme wide-body Porsches became globally accepted, even celebrated. You now see wide-body 911 builds inspired by RWB across social media, car shows, and even high-end custom shops. Whether you love them or hate them, you simply can't ignore them. And that's the kind of impact RWB has made in the automotive world. When you look at one of these, you're not just looking at a modified Porsche, you're looking at Japanese underground car culture, boundaries that have been broken, one man's artistic vision, and decades of evolving automotive taste. The Porsche 993 was already special, the final chapter of air-cooled 911 history, but RWB took that platform and gave it a second life. A halve life. As always, thank you very much for watching, and we'd also like to give a huge thanks to Karen for allowing us to document this work of art. And if you did enjoy this video, please subscribe to our channel as it means a lot to us, and visit our socials and our website for even more. But until then, we'll catch you in the next one.